Oh, hang on. We gotta add one more. Calling this the virgin tier because I'm not watching it. There we are. Fucks hard fucks. Can fuck, kinda fucks, doesn't fuck. Fuck that and virgin. So, A New Hope. Honestly, New Hope fucks. Anyone gonna tell me A New Hope doesn't fuck? Anyone got the balls in chat to tell me that? No, because New Hope fucks. Clone Wars, or whatever it's called. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Does not fuck. You know what? No. It can stay in doesn't fuck. I was almost about to put it in fuck that. That movie doesn't fuck. The only good thing about that movie is the way Padme is dressed. Otherwise, that movie is fucking awful. Awful experience to sit through that. Star Wars Rebels, virgin, not watching that. Resistance, virgin, not watching that. Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi can fuck. Because Return of the Jedi is a lot like a lot of the modern Star Wars stuff. Where they let the slop get in there and bring it down from being like top tier. And the slop leaks in and kind of drags the best stuff down. Like everything they're doing on, is it Endor or whatever it is? You know, what the Han Leia stuff with the little rabbit bears. The fuck is that? Up on whatever it was, the cruiser, the Death Star, or whatever it was, with Palpy, you know, Vader, Luke, a lot of that stuff, awesome. So that movie goes in can fuck. Jar Jar's 9-10 character. Paper, how old are you, dude? That is such a... That is a very, very young take. What do we got here? Oh, this is episode 3. Episode 3, can fuck. It's not that great. I find it actually very overrated, and people that try to tell me it's nuts, I'm like, no, I don't think so. Here's the thing. I don't like the super acrobatic... What do I do with the standing desk now? Grab this broom handle I use for stretching exercises. All the super acrobatic waving the lightsabers around, I don't like that. I think that looks silly. It's gymnastics. Okay? I think that's the lamest sword fight. Guys are giving up like their back and their advantage all the time in those sword fights. Lightsaber fights. Like just doing cool spin moves and shit. Completely ineffective. You should be getting stabbed in the back, sliced up when you do that. In a real sword fight, you never would. Now, in the prequels, they're kind of like mid. Although, I'll get to this in a second. Let's go grab Empire. Empire Strikes Back. That movie fucks hard. That movie fucks super hard. Because something I like about, Empire and Return of the Jedi, when they are having this lightsaber fights, it is like they are swinging a real sword. They're putting weight into their swings. They are leaning into it. They're twisting. They're turning. And then especially in Return of the Jedi, when Luke goes bananas with the sword, lightsaber, I thought that was maybe like some of the best, maybe the best lightsaber scene in the entire franchise at this point. Where he's just wailing. He's just going nuts. Love that. Love that. Ah, Lumi, they're not the worst. I can't stand the gymnastics stuff. I'll give you, like, in A New Hope, they're not very good, because it's a guy who can't see out of his Darth Vader mask fighting a really old man, and they're very gentle and casual because they're worried they're going to break the prop. I'll give you that one, but I think after that, they get into... Actually, is there even really much of a lightsaber scene in Empire? I'd have to rewatch. Not too much of one, but then I really like him in Return of the Jedi. But watching Luke train with it, I did find it interesting. Again, because it's like someone who's actually learning how to wield a sword. So I like that. We're going to shrink this just a pinch. Rogue One can fuck. Rogue One can fuck. It has some stuff I'm not crazy about, but Rogue One can fuck. And honestly, I thought the best part of that film was when everybody started dying. Because I was a little bit bored with what's going on, and I'm like, oh my god, They're gonna drag this out. All these characters are gonna live. I'm gonna have to watch 7 more films of this cast. And then everyone started fucking dying. And I'm like, yeah, kill them all. Let's go. Yeah, Empire does have the most iconic lightsaber scene. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how I blanked on forgetting that, because to me, honestly, Empire to me is such a great film with like characterization and so much else. I don't even think about the action or honestly lack of action in that film, because I find the character stuff in that movie is so strong. I am your father's brother's cousin's nephew's former roommate. But nah, cause like the middle part of Rogue One fucking drags. Fucking drags. But I do enjoy the first act and the third act. I do not enjoy Act 2 of that movie. Solo. I think Solo kind of fucks. Because, like, again, there's some neat ideas in Solo, but you have to wade through so much boring shit in Solo. I think I'd watch Solo before I'd watch Episode 2 again. Had Spaceballs. Spaceballs goes and fucks hard. That's all you need to know. I think Solo kind of fucks. Again, there's like neat stuff in Solo, but not enough of it. And then the stuff that's like dreadful is like super dreadful. So yeah, I think Solo kind of fucks. I might have to rewatch it, because again, out of these, I've probably seen most of these like multiple times. Like between theaters, and then like someone's like, we should watch Star Wars, or hey man, I'm having people over, we're gonna watch all the Star Wars movies. I'm like, I'll come for the pizza and chips, you know? That's why I'm showing up. So but I've only seen Solo once, so I think Solo gets kind of fucks because benefit of only seeing it once, so I can't get too cynical on it. Clone Wars, Virgin, not watching that. Same with whatever this is. Clone Wars, something else. Not watching it. Alright, now we have Episode 7. Episode 7 fucks, dude. I'm absolutely serious. Force Awakens. You might hate 8 and 9. We talked over this. We talked about the movie reviews. 8 and 9, you might have your qualms with them. 7, though. 7's real good. And again, it's something I really like in the new trilogy when it comes down to Star Wars. When they're swinging the lightsabers, they're not quite as fragile and almost like duel-like as some of the original trilogy lightsaber scenes were. But they do seem like they're swinging a heavy sword and they're getting tired. They're putting effort in their swings. They're not breakdancing with a sword twirling around at the same time. Clone Wars Season 7? Oh, separate? Oh, I guess it came out way later? Okay. Yeah, I'm not watching that stuff. This stuff probably came out when I was in middle school, and I was like, I'm not watching cartoons, I'm into boobs! So I probably missed out on most of those because of that. Alright, Episode 8. God, the thing is, I like the good stuff in Episode 8 so much. But yeah, Rose and Finn's subplot. And you know what? No one's even nice about the Rose and Finn subplot. Is it brought up the question, what does the greater galaxy think of the Rebels versus the Empire? Because you don't really get that side of the story too often. And the fact that they're just like, yeah, we're rich, we're you know, the war profiteering and, you know, all that fun stuff. And they're just like, yeah, we actually love it that you guys keep fighting. I actually thought that was kind of interesting. And here's the thing, even going off on their own to a plot that ultimately doesn't come to fruition is okay. I mean, I could go without, like, the space horses galloping through the streets or whatever was happening there. And then when Rose crashed her space, like, race pod ship into Finn's to save him from the cannon. Like, because he was going to die getting blasted by the cannon, but he was going to survive 2 ships crashing into each other. And they did it for love. That part can fuck right off. Yeah. It sounds weird to blame Rose, because I don't really want to. But it's the way she's written and the stuff she gets involved in is probably... Yeah, probably the worst part. Because, like, Benicio del Toro, whatever his character's name is, I thought he was really interesting. Like I said, going to the casino world and seeing that people are like, yeah, we fucking love war profiteering, yeah! Industrial military complex, let's go! I'm like, wow, that's a really interesting element to this world. You know? Because, like, what does the normal person think of this stuff that's going on? Because it seems so, because we're so focused in on the good side, bad side, Rebels, Empire, that you never really get that other angle, and I actually thought that was pretty neat. Yeah, I know. Maybe that's why I liked it. That's very realistic. That the people really far away from the conflict are like, yeah, keep killing each other, keep buying guns! Mandalorian. Fucks hard. Now, I've only seen the first 2 seasons. Let me preface this with that. I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Mando. First season, fucks super hard. And again, it gets back in that episode 8 thing. We get to see the Star Wars world away from the Rebels and the Empire. And I still remember that scene from whatever episode it was, where whatever, you know, Mando, I forget his name, but Mando is flying his ship, and then, like, the Rebels are like, hey, you're in our sector, you need to check in with our logistics to get your boarding pass, or whatever, you know? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's crazy, guys, yeah, I'll get right on that. I'm like, oh, look. Even though the Rebels are the good guys in the films to us, now they're just kind of the annoying, you know, goody two-shoes cops to our lovely kind of anti-hero-esque type fella in Mando. I know, they got the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next week. Or is it this week? No, it's next week. It's for American Memorial Day weekend. And I didn't watch the Boba Fett show. I have no interest in Boba Fett as a character. Miss me with that shit. Alright, so now we're on to episode 1. Episode 1 is fuck that. There are 2 scenes that matter in Star Wars in that entire film. 2 scenes. 2. Count them. 1, 2. The rest of that movie's pointless and boring. So fucking boring. Now, granted, we see what's going on with Iran and the US right now. I guess the taxation of trade routes is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. I see that. Doesn't mean it's entertaining for a fucking movie, though. Din Djarin, right? That's his name. Yeah. Can't do it. Okay. There's 1 good thing, 2 good thing, and they're only in 2 scenes. 1, the first scene that matters is them finding Anakin, and the fact that they do the midichlorian thing is absolute bullshit. You could just have Qui-Gon as, like, this, like, very, like, serious, educated, almost stoic monk meet Anakin and be like, oh my god, I can sense the Force in this kid. It's absolutely crazy, you know? That's all you need. You don't need pod racing, although the pod racing scene was kind of fun, actually. You don't need all that entire plot on that planet. You don't need the, oh, we can't train him. Oh, we have to train him. Who cares? Don't need that. And the second important scene is when Qui-Gon's dying and he's like, train the boy. You could put those 2 scenes together as the prologue to episode 2 and miss nothing. Oh yeah, of course that's why they killed him. But like, all Qui-Gon had to be like, yeah, I don't know. And Qui-Gon's character's not even that great. Because he's going all over the place. Sometimes he's like super stoic and then out of nowhere, and he's like very like morally righteous and at times morally removed or emotionally removed. And then he's like, oh hey, I'm gonna use my mind trick to make an insanely weird gamble. Fucking dumb. Like I said, 2 scenes in that movie matter. That movie, fuck that. I would rather watch episode 2 twice than watch episode 1 once again. Even the Padme stuff isn't that interesting in the first film, though. Padme doesn't actually start doing anything more interesting until the second film. He gains a lot. I bet he does gain a lot of other stuff because people rave about how the Clone Wars turned Anakin from a piss baby who's wetting his pants all the time into a rounded, good character. Same thing with Qui-Gon. Or Obi-Wan, who Obi-Wan I'm not crazy about in the prequels either. The only movie I really like Obi-Wan in is probably the third film. Otherwise, he's kind of whining a lot. And maybe that's where Anakin learned to whine about everything. But yeah, I'm actually not crazy about Obi-Wan in the prequels either. And then, what is this? This is episode 9. Episode 9 does not fuck. That movie... Is episode 9 worse than episode 2? That's a really good question. Yeah, no, I like Obi-Wan in episode 3. I think that's the only time he really... Again, I feel like his character feels like a true person. Instead of just a bunch of lines being spoken that an out-of-touch George Lucas wrote because he surrounded himself with yes men who told him all his ideas were great. Is episode 9... No, episode 9 is better than The Phantom Menace. And I'll tell you why it's better than The Phantom Menace. Because at least it has Adam Driver. And Adam Driver deserves so much more than these films gave him. So, Adam Driver alone brings it out of fuck that into doesn't fuck. However, the rest of that movie is a fucking disaster and I hate it. I'm trying to think of anything else to say about that movie besides Adam Driver is really good. I think my silence is the answer. You know what? I did enjoy the duel they had on like the sinking Death Star on the planet. Again, because it looked like a real sword fight where they're putting weight into their swings and they're emotionally invested and they're not just doing a choreographed dance routine. But again, that's Adam Driver. I remember the end of that movie pissed me off so much I almost... Well, not even pissed me off. I was just laughing at that point. I guffawed audibly in the theater. Episode 1 plot? Nah, fuck episode 1. I hate that movie. I watched that movie as a kid in the theater and didn't enjoy it as a child. I would have been like 9 and I didn't like it. That tells you a lot about that movie. That's true. God, the plot makes no fucking sense. But like I said, I think I just personally enjoy Adam Driver a lot. And like I said, I think anytime he's on screen in any of those movies, they are a cut above. But then when he's off screen, and honestly, Daisy Ridley's not bad through the first 2 films. In the third one, I think she stopped caring. You know, I think it turned into like a bit of a Game of Thrones. You know, what was that? You know, I think, was it Emilia Clarke or was it the Jon Snow guy who said, yeah, this was so bad, I kind of just stopped acting and just did what I was being directed to do. I stopped like putting the extra effort into this character. Yeah, somehow Palpatine did return. I mean, I'm not behind an ass pull. Okay, he's space Satan. Okay, so you can't really kill him. His Force spirit. Yeah, the way they explain it though is fucking dumb. And the fact that he raises up like 10 million ships, but until they like turn on their Wi-Fi at exactly the same time and like sync Bluetooth together, they can't fly away. And why were they riding like weird space mooses across the Death Star, just Death Destroyers, what are they called? Star Destroyers. And they all have cannons as powerful as Star Destroyers. But Adam Driver. I'm just going to keep coming back to that. But Adam Driver. Adam Driver. So here it is. There's the full list. Empire. Fucks hard. Season 1 and most of Season 2 of Mando. Fucks hard. New Hope. Fucks. Episode 7. Fucks. Can fuck. Return of the Jedi. Revenge of the Sith. Rogue One. I blanked on it. And man, I wish I had something between can fuck and kinda fucks for episode 8. But we're gonna leave episode 8 at the bottom of Can't Fuck. Oh, I didn't order these. But honestly, the order is pretty close to what I would go with. I might change it slightly, but this order is pretty accurate. But I would leave. Solo kinda fucks. Episode 2 does not fuck. Episode 9 does not fuck. Episode 1, fuck that, and I'm not watching the other stuff. So, enjoy, YouTube. I'm gonna cut that for YouTube and get 10 million angry Star Wars fans yelling at me because I said something nice about the sequel trilogy.